Hello and welcome to the Uniguest Digital Engagement Platform training video, and in this video we're going to be looking at schedules. So in previous videos we looked at all the different types of content we can add to the system, we created a template, and now we're ready to publish content to the screen. So we're going to come across to the left hand menu here and we're going to click on signage. I'm now going to click on to schedules because we're going to schedule some content. You will see that it already has a schedule in here, and if you remember when we added a screen to the system it asked us about having a default schedule and we said yes. So this is where it has now gone. If I click into the middle of it, it's going to open up a calendar view for me and we can see different options. So default is our 24 hours a day, 7 days a week content, and then if I schedule any daily or weekly content on it will fall on top and interrupt the default. So the default is one of the most important functions, but it's also the one that will be overridden by everything else. So let's start by getting some default content onto our screen. So I'm on the default tab, so I'm going to click Manage Default Content. Now all we need to do is drag and drop our content from the right hand side, so either our media, templates, which are our presentations, or our playlists. So for this one, I'm actually going to use my template. So there's the one that we actually made, and I'm just going to drag that across, and you'll see it's now giving me the option to amend the time. So I'm not too worried about amending the time because this is going to be the only piece of item I have as my default playlist. So what will happen is when it gets to the end of the 10 seconds, it will just go back round and continuously loop with this being my default content. So I can add other items on there if I wanted to, and they would rotate around, but I'm quite happy with just my template. So I'm now going to click OK. So I've chosen the item I would like, and I'm now going to click on Save, and I'm going to click Update, and that is going to now push it through to the screen for me. If I want to check that it's actually on the screen, what I can do is come up to the little tiny cog here, and this will open up some options for the screen. So there is a separate video going through these options, but the one we would actually like is Open Preview. So if I click on Open Preview, this will give me a preview of what's on the screen. And there we go. We can actually see the presentations there and it's playing correctly. So I'm just going to remove that. So now we know it's playing on the screen. I'm going to exit out of the menu. And what we're going to do is go back into our schedule. So if I click onto my schedule, we can either now choose to have some content that would be daily. And if we add it into daily, so for example, at 12 o'clock today until 2, this will appear tomorrow, the following day onwards. It's a daily reoccurrence. If I wanted it just on a weekly basis, I could choose weekly, and it could be a fire alarm that we have Monday at 9 o'clock. So I can click Monday at 9 o'clock and it will then be every single Monday. If I click on calendar, this is a particular day that we want the content to be. So it could be that you've got an event coming up and what we want to do is plan out that day. So if I now go back and we'll gradually build up the schedule. So if I go to daily, I've got a couple of ways I can add the content. I can either come across here and click on add time slot. I can then choose which content I would like. So by dragging it across, which we're going to do in a moment, and then I can set the time down here. So all I would need to do is click on the actual the clock here, and as we can see, the 8 is highlighted, so I can move that around to whatever time of day I would like. I can then, as soon as I let go, the minutes will highlight, and we can see that they've changed. So I can now set that to 7:30, and I would do exactly the same for PM. The other way to do it is to actually click on the actual clock itself. So as we can see, that's now saying 12 o'clock. So if I double click onto it, I can still edit the time if I wanted to. So I want this to be minutes. So I want it from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock. So there we go. So I've now set the time here as well. And what I want to do is actually have a menu up every day between 12 and 2 o'clock. So I'm going to come across and I have a clock under my media. And if I come down, I've got some menus here. So ticking on the menu folder, I can now see my menu and I'm going to drag it over to the left hand side. Again, the duration I'm not worried about because it's going to be the only item in here. So I'm now happy with this, so I'm going to click OK. I'm now going to click Save. and it's asking me, do I want to push it through to the screen? I can simply click update if I wanted to, or I could have clicked no because I've got more edits I want to make. So I'm now going to go back into my schedule. So there's my daily reoccurrence. So now every day between 12 and 2 o'clock, my default playlist is going to be interrupted. But it may be that I would like an announcement on a weekly basis, and that announcement's every Friday afternoon. So exactly the same process. I'm going to click on it at 5:30. So I'm going to double click on it to open it up, and this time I'm going to add a different playlist in. So let's bring in example 1, and we're also going to drop some additional media in as well, so you can sort of see the difference by adding the different content. We can again change the duration for these individual because it's highlighted, and I can change the priority as well. So I have to switch these two over by telling it I want it to go up or down. I can then change the time. So actually I would like this to finish at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to click OK. So again, now we've added in our playlist, we've got our daily, and we've got our default. But we've got a big event coming up, so I'm going to click onto calendar, and we're going to go along to the 25th of December. There we go. So what I now have is a big function on Christmas Day. So what I want to do is have very particular content in there. So I'm going to start my day off at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to use a playlist that is called AM. There we go. And I'm going to have this content running from 8:15 up to 11:30. I'm going to click OK. Now I've got my menu. If I don't put anything in here, my menu will continue to rise. So I could, if I wanted to, add a different menu in for the Christmas lunch. And then what I would like to do, oh, sorry, I didn't do that time correctly. So let's change that. So I actually want that to go to 11:55. Click OK. There we go. So that's better. And now I'd like some more content from 2 o'clock. So click on my calendar, click on the 2. There we go. Oh, it's because that is going to exceed, so I need to amend that. And this is the nice thing, is it will correct me if there is an error. So now I'm actually going to set that until 6 o'clock. Click OK. So on this day, on the 25th, we're going to have our default up until 8:15, and then it will be playlist AM. Then it's going to default to my daily, which is my menu because I've left it blank. If I put something else in there, it would override my daily. And then I've got a new playlist starting at 2 o'clock. And I'm just going to put my PM presentation in there. So there it is. And then I can click OK. And this is how it works. So default is one of the most important because it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Daily will override the default between the set times. Weekly will override the default. And the calendar will override everything. So I'm completely happy with everything now. So I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to click update. And that has now pushed all of that information to my screen. I hope this helps. Thank you.